Megan from Sidekick Accounting, your accounting sidekick. So today I am hopping back on the KPI wagon. Thank you for your patience. If you've been watching or waiting for this to drop, our KPI journey, there was a bit of an interruption over the last week with the hurricane that hit down here in Florida. Thankfully, we did not get hit. We were on the path, but overnight it dissipated and went from a category 4 to category 1 and went more east. We're on the west side of Florida, so it pretty much missed us. All we got was pretty high winds. So some sticks and branches down, but that was pretty much it. Thankfully, nothing really too much to report. And I guess that's the hard thing about a hurricane is you don't really know what's going to happen with it or any weather event. But at least with a hurricane, there's pros and cons. Like you get this long wait to have the impact, and then you're not sure what's going to happen from there. So it's like days of preparation to find out what's actually going to happen. So, anyways, needless to say, it was thankfully nothing we had to worry about, unlike our fellow Floridians down south, which we are still keeping in prayer in Fort Myers area and Naples and some of Tampa as well. And across the state, really. Different areas got hit in different ways. So we're thankful we didn't and are praying for those that did. But thankful to hear that most people, at least, they're going to recover. And that's good to hear too. So anyways, okay, KPIs. We are talking today about the break-even point analysis. And this one I think is a really important one, especially if you have product-based businesses. But it can be really helpful in terms of services as well. But you definitely need to focus on this, or at least do it once or twice, something to that effect, if you are a product-based business. So we are going to delve right in because I don't want to waste too much time. I can get a little chatty. But basically, the purpose of this is to determine your safety amount, right? To figure out what is the minimum of what you need to sell in order to break even, quote unquote, right? So that you can at least understand what that looks like. How many of each thing do you need to sell in order to be kind of in the, out of the red, as they say. So in a safety zone. So we're going to take a look at a spreadsheet that I put together as a tool. So this is our costing or profit margin spreadsheet that I've done with costing sessions with people to help them understand exactly what their costs are. And one area that gets overlooked often is your labor area. So the labor area often gets excluded, especially if an owner is doing things themselves. But that is something that's really important to factor in as well. The way the break-even cost analysis works is that we are going to be looking at both fixed costs and variable costs. So you need to know what those look like. So in this scenario, we're going to look at soap bars. If a person was creating soap bars, they have these main areas of putting things together. We grouped ingredients together so they know that it costs $4. They can make 10 bars out of the supplies that cost $4. So the cost per bar is 40 cents for ingredients. And then they have tissue paper and then the labor to prepare it. So the total cost of this particular product is $3.06, and then they sell it for $8, giving them this margin of 62%, which is a good margin, right? And this is an important thing to do as well. But we're going to take a look at what exactly their break even is. How much do they need to sell in order to break even? What is their goal, their minimum goal to sell? So let's say, and this is quantitative based off of how many you want to sell, right? So whatever it is that you want to sell, what does that look like? So we're going to take a look at what this is. Fixed cost for this particular thing would be the labor, because it shouldn't really take any more or less time. The cost for labor should be pretty fixed unless that person were to get an wage increase. For the most part, though, it should stay consistent. And then the variable ingredients or variable cost are going to be the ingredients in the tissue paper, because especially in this day and age and in our climate, current economic climate, there is a lot of variables when it comes to products. So some week it could be one way, next week it can be another way. So it's very ebb and flow. So what we're going to take here is we're going to take the fixed cost, which is the 2.63, and we want to sell, let's say 50 of them. So we want to sell 50 of those. So that is going to be our first starting number. And then we're going to take the sales price, which is the $8 sales price per unit, and subtract out the variable cost, which is going to be the 0.4 and then the 0.04 because it's per unit. And that gives us 756. And those are going to be the two sides of this formula that we need to look at. So then we're going to take the fixed cost, this first one, and we're going to divide it by the price per unit divided by variable cost. And that gives us about 17 units. So this is the break even cost analysis, because we know that we need to sell at least 17 of these to be able to start making a profit on what we're trying to do, and out of the 50. And so that can vary depending on how many you want to be able to sell. Now you know 17 of them are going to be directed more towards covering those costs, and everything above and beyond that is going to be your bonus, right? All the income, your margin, et cetera, that's going to exceed that amount. So that's the break even cost analysis. And this is a KPI that you should track, probably review at least, twice a year, I would say, just to make sure that you know exactly where you're at. However, this can be a really great KPI to establish and then monitor with your team. So if you're like, okay, my goal is this month that we sell X amount of this product, X amount of this product, and X amount of this product, that is something that you can then manage and understand. So, sorry, my son just came in here very loudly. Gotta love kids. Okay, if you're a parent who has children, please excuse that last portion of this video, and hopefully this was helpful. Let me know what kind of KPIs you've been thinking about, if you have been thinking about some KPIs. Hopefully you have, if you've been watching any of these videos and starting to think about what exactly your business needs to start tracking in order to make sure it's moving in the direction you want it to go. Looking forward to hearing that, and I will see you again.